Good Monday morning. Hope everybody had a safe weekend. Enjoyed yourself. Whatsoever you did, whatever you did, done. As long as it wasn't breaking no laws. Hope you enjoyed yourself. Safe. Now we back on the grind. Monday morning. Back on the grind. Hope you have a blessed, productive week. Let's talk about preachers living in your pockets. Little short video. Preachers living in your pockets. You go to the book of Ephesians. It says, let every man give whatever he desired in his heart concerning giving. Then you go to the book of, I think it, 2 Peter. It talks about the shepherds. 2 Peter chapter 2, I think it is, shepherds. It tell every man not to do anything out of necessities, out of want, out of need. Don't do anything unless you're doing it willingly. That includes shepherding, pastoring a church. A preacher have no biblical authority to live in your pockets. They have made tithes and offering time a very important piece of Sunday service. Tradition of men. It's almost like going to the club. You get in free, enjoy some music, but they're going to charge you. They're going to come through later on and charge you. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's sad that people can't go to church nowadays because they know they're going to be robbed once they get in the church. They ain't worried about being robbed on the outside of church. They worry about being robbed on the inside of church. Many denominations disagree on biblical issues in the Bible. But one thing they all agree on is that tithes and offering. They agree on that, even though that's a outdated system. It never was instituted into the new church. Every time you hear a preacher try to preach on tithing, whether it be apostolic, Church of God in Christ, Baptist, Methodist, all of them that believe in, they have to scuffle to try to find something in the New Testament to show you. Well, Abraham gave Melchizedek a tithe. It wasn't required of him. Spoils of war. It wasn't nothing that he earned anyway. How you gonna tithe on something that didn't belong to you? You go to Malachi. That's where tithing was instituted. We all know this. Who don't know what Malachi really is and talking about? It's talking about meat, grain. That's why when you go to church, your pastor don't never taught that, never showed y'all that. If they do, they're going to shoot themselves in the foot. They'll talk about tithing. They'll try to go in the Old Testament and show you before it was instituted to the Israelites. But after Jesus died on the cross, all that stuff under the law was done away with. The Moses law. There's no New Testament scriptures, although Jakes and all of them stand and preach that now. There are no New Testament scriptures requiring saints to give a tithe. Tithe means an obligation. But still, we're going to use it tithe. You have to do it according to the scriptures of the Old Testament. Grain, meat, nothing about money. It's not about money. Never have been about money. Whoever changed it to money, they messed up. If preachers were honest, all these big old mega churches, all these places, they would have storehouses. That's what the Bible said in the Old Testament, bring it into the storehouse. So there would be meat. Bring ye all the meat. Meat. Who changed it? Ask your pastor that. Who changed it? Where did it change? Pastor telling you, you owe God a tenth out of your gross every week. That's a lie. It's not money. It is not money from the get-go. And you're not obligated. Now, if the churches really were doing stuff by the Bible and they really want to do stuff by the Bible, why aren't they doing the stuff how they did it in the Old Testament? How many churches have property? A lot of churches got property now. I'm going to go there. A lot of churches have property. How many are these churches in the United States have actual gardens? How many are using them properties to plant gardens, to raise livestock? That's what it was in the Old Testament. Call it a lie. Call it a lie. God gave them land and furnished it with cattle. Cattle on 1,000 hill belong. He gave them everything. All they had to do was tend to the land, plant the fields, crops, and stuff like that. Self-sustaining. How many churches today have gardens? Many churches, big name churches, have plenty of properties. Plenty of property. All everywhere. What they doing with it? Developing, doing it, using the property for personal self. Although it's in the church name, why does a church have property 100 miles, 250 miles, 300 miles away? And what's on that property? Houses. A lot of these people are running illegal operations under the name of church. Don't be fooled. A lot of these pastors are crooked. A lot of these pastors in America have always been dirty, crooked. They do anything to do the government. A church have property 200 or 300 miles away. Ain't nothing on their property but houses or maybe illegal activity. But you ain't housing people. You're not building shelters for folks. You don't have gardens. You don't have cattle on that property. The members not able to go there and tend to the property. It's private. It belongs to the church, but yet it's private. Only people have access to it is the leaders. I understand these people now that's going down in Texas. Dealers. Is they dealers? No, healers. They got property everywhere. All that stuff. They use the church. Bought property. There's a lot of people been doing illegal activity through the church. Even if they just running business. It still shouldn't be done. There was a church in Memphis. Corner Baptist Church over on Mill Branch. They were running a bus shuttle service for years under the name of the church. They was taking people on ferry, Corner tours, Koinonia Baptist Church, Joyner, Reverend Joyner. They was running a tour company through the church. They got shut down in 2000 something. They got shut down. I think they were running the daycare through the name, and they got shut down under that too. But definitely their bus service they were doing good. Buses were going everywhere. People were renting buses for family reunion trips and whatnot. They were going taking people to the casinos and stuff like that. They were running a full-fledged business other than daycare. Now daycare can be kind of like, well, but it's still an operation of getting that money through the government. They always have done it. When it comes to the Bible and God, man don't care what they do. Man heart is deceitful. Just look at now how many preachers and pastors are going down, getting in trouble. You think they won't do that? They not doing all that other stuff? Many pastors have the same kind of mentality that P. Diddy and them have. Houses everywhere, private property. Church got property way off in the hills somewhere. Some of everything going on in them houses. They come right to church, get in the pulpit. Preach like, but they come to get that money. They got to keep their cash coming in. Yeah, but preachers living in your pockets. If you got a preacher that living in your pockets, he ain't doing the work of the Lord. Preacher come to church every Sunday begging y'all to pay tithes and begging y'all that, swilling y'all and pressing y'all to pay that 10% every Sunday. They ain't sin of God. They greedy dogs. They after their own bellies. Should no pastor be pastoring a church on a salary? It don't matter if he got a million members, a million followers. The Bible still stands. Well, I sell my books. I got this. I understand that, but still, you doing you. If you financially stable, don't have to work. You don't have no business going out there trying to promote books, promote movies, and going on tours and doing all that. You need to spend your time with the flock outside the church, tending to the flock. And then what the Bible say? You the shepherd. You tend to the flock. You dedicate your time to the church. You got a bunch of members. You decide to be the leader, become a shepherd. You obligated to go and tend to their flock, to their flock. Sick, whatever they call you, whatever. You got to spend that time at the church, in your study, in case people come in. Like church supposed to be set up like the Catholic Church. Come in and sit down, minister on duty, talk to you, go through the scriptures. These preachers ain't dedicated to the church. They only come to church on Wednesdays and Sundays. Most of them don't show up on Wednesday. They'll have the elders or the younger minister to conduct or Bible study. But most mega churches don't even have a Bible study. They just have a midweek service. And it's all designed to bring in money. Church is a money operation. Church is a multi-billion-dollar money operation. People can't go to church now. The poor people can't go to church because they know they're going to get robbed by greedy pastors and everybody else that's on the staff that's getting paid. You go to church now, and these popular churches and all these churches, it's just a thing. Everybody, the pastor getting paid. They got a orchestra. They got a musician pit. They got a high dollar choreography team. Every Sunday they got to come up with a new routine. Every Sunday they got to do this. They got top-notch musicians. They got to pay. Then most of them people that's on the payroll in church, they're not even saved. They don't even believe in God. They just there to get that check. They gone back out and live openly for the devil. They out playing R&B music or jazz music on Friday, Thursday, anywhere from Thursday to Friday, Saturday night. Then they come to church on Sunday, get that check. They all about the money. Church supposed to be a free zone, a zone free. I mean, a free zone. Anybody come to church, you play music, you pastor, you preach, you participate. That's supposed to be done out of your heart. Churches need to get away from this music stuff. Greedy folks operate in church. I got to do all this. I got to go home and study this music. I got to go home. It don't take all that. All you musicians around this country are good musicians, most of you. It don't take anything but a minute to catch on. Churches going out there searching for this new stuff and all this complicated music stuff. That ain't necessary. Having music isn't even necessary to have in church. It should be done voluntarily. You're going to go to church. You go to church anyway. Most of them don't go to church. They go to church to get paid. They can care less about the service. To show you how messed up the church is. Everybody in the church now is out for self. Out for gain. Self-gain. Running through the women. Running through the men. Coding. Hooking up at the church. Preachers living in your pockets. It's a disgrace. Join my channel. I'm out here working every day. I believe I do a good job in inspiring and giving y'all. I ain't begging y'all for nothing. Just subscriptions. I make a pretty decent living. I ain't trying to be a pastor. But church is gone. Church as we know it today is gone. It's gone. The youth can go to the little country church and find some sense of holiness. They are gone now. They gone. You go to the little small church, country churches, them old women in there, them old gals ain't got no, just ramsacking the church, keeping a whole bunch of mess going on. The church just gone. People just going through the motions nowadays. You get up and go to church. Everything going on in the church but holiness. That's why people are so attracted to church now. You go to church to get entertained. You go to church to see booties out. You go to church to see cooches. Go to church to see breasts hanging out. Women go to church to see men things. Church now is nothing but the devil's playground. Nothing but they flirting all while they in church. The minister up in there winking and talking to the women in the audience. The women, church is gone. Women coming to church in competition with one another. They after the same man. They trying to break up a happy home. They running the minister's wife crazy. They stealing people's identities. I mean, they doing everything. Church is gone.